As you may or may not know, Braxton County is the geographic center of the state. So for any sort of meetings or conferences or that sort of thing that involve statewide organizations, it's an excellent destination to kind of keep it convenient for everybody. And then on top of that, we have a lot of rich history, a lot of great outdoor activities, and one of the things that we talked about the most is our Flatwoods Monster, which was somewhat famous in certain circles. Alien sighting that happened in Flatwoods in 1952. Actually, what makes it so famous is that it was really early compared to most of them. So whenever it happened, it was really big news nationally for a short time after. So that's kind of what had it go spread far and wide. So we've been doing everything we can to resurrect it. So we always want people to come out and check out where Flatwoods Monster was seen, follow the footsteps of the witnesses, and also there are several things in the county that are monster themed that people can come and check out. For a day trip, I would recommend coming up early and checking out our Flatwoods Monster Chairs trail that we have. I'd recommend coming into Cafe Semino for lunch, or maybe supper. Maybe check out the Sutton Lake or the Burnsville Lake, both beautiful lakes for boating and fishing. A lot of our historic architecture. We have historic downtown Sutton, and just our great back roads that stem from here. If you like going on scenic drives, it seems like Braxton County is just full of them, and it's also kind of a great starting point and ending point for taking drives, motorcycle rides, things of that nature. If you're a hunter, Braxton County actually offers some of the most amount of acreage available in West Virginia, at least per county, that's public land that's publicly huntable. Particularly in Sutton, the arts are very strong here. There's the 191 Gallery, and a couple of artists own it and show their work out of there, although I believe it's by appointment only. And then there is the Needle Basket, which is a quilting shop, and also just down the street here is the Landmark Studio for the Arts that put on plays pretty regularly, sometimes is a venue for hosting concerts and that sort of thing.
Dad will tell you over and over, he said this all along even when we were growing up, but he didn't plan any of this. This was just, he said there's no way God wasn't a part of this because I didn't really plan to do this. All of a sudden it's just, oh, that makes sense, and then he'd do the next thing. It was just always like God dropped the next plan in his lap. I know that's a little far-fetched, but that's really the way we've kind of lived it, and we're not developers. We don't claim to be developers still today. We just have been blessed with managing this stuff, I guess.
I think after we had Sutton Lane Motel and moved across the street to the interstate, I think then the vision started shifting a little bit, saying, the exit's starting to develop. Let's see who else might want to come in and lease property from us. And I think the very first lease that he ever signed was 1984. And if you remember, there used to be a Dairy Queen, and I think that was the first lease he ever signed. But not too long after that came McDonald's. So, but the McDonald's lease was the real coup. That was the one that said, oh, if there's a national name, it's kind of a new way to start turning the exit around. And so now you have a 200-room motel property, plus two other smaller motel properties. You have a truck stop, and you have a McDonald's and a Dairy Queen and a few other fast foods that have arrived, and a few other gas stations that have arrived. And so now the next phase is sort of retail. And at that time, outlet malls were the craze. That's what everybody was doing, was outlet malls. They built most of the outlet malls in 96 and 98, I believe it was, and then we built on a little bit more in 2005.
Cafe Semino Country Inn. It's been here in Sutton since, I want to say, the early 2000s, maybe 2000. And then they moved over here to the bed and breakfast sometime shortly after. And it just wins, seems like, about any award bed and breakfast or restaurant can win, it tends to win.
The Carriage House was originally the Carriage House. The street level was the carriages, the third floor was the loft for the hay, and the basement was on stilts with plank walls. It was the manger for the animals. And it was turned into a house in the 50s and then apartments in the 90s. They actually jacked the whole building up and built the block wall basement, poured a concrete floor, and set the whole building back down again. So they really modernized the Carriage House to turn it into apartments. And now it's the Carriage House for the cafe here. And we have 4 guest rooms, and the owners have a little efficiency suite in the bottom.
Sutton Lake is essentially the Elk River, and it starts in, I believe, up in Webster County. And it was dammed back in the 60s as a flood control measure. And more or less what the Sutton Lake and Sutton Dam provide is flood control for everything south of us. Like if you will recall, the big flooding that we had, last year or two ago. If it wasn't for the Sutton Dam, that damage would have been catastrophic between it and the Burnsville Dam. It had to let out a lot of water in order to keep water from going over the dam, but it kept the damage less severe. Although it was incredibly severe, Charleston might not exist if it wasn't for the Sutton Dam.
We do strive to have unique and different, unusual rentals, anything that's fun for the water that we want to have. Because as far as I know, we're the only jet ski rentals in the state and the only houseboat rentals in the state. And right now, the only rental in the state that would have a boat like this, which is brand new to our rental fleet. A double-deck pontoon, 2 water slides, grill, bathroom, Bluetooth stereo, dive platform. It's got everything you could want in a rental. We work really hard to keep it maintained. It is a lot of work, but we're proud of the boats. We keep it at a max of 10 per boat, but they're sleeping for 8. They have 4 queen beds, 2 bathrooms, 1 with a shower. You have a huge 500-foot upper deck, and we rent those either 3-day, 4-day, or 7-day.
We're letting God lead us, through a lot of it. We realize that none of this stuff is ours really. We're just managing it, trying to provide good jobs for people. What's next is, we're now in our 50s, and just like our parents were, we have 6 kids between us, and we don't know about the interest our kids have in the business. So we're right now our goal is leasing land out, and selling where we have to. We brought the Walmart in 2-3 years ago, and we sold to them. So there's retail opportunities around the Walmart for us, that we think will happen. There's other land leases and building leases available, like the Starbucks. We think that the pilot, brought us to Walmart, and which brings us to Starbucks, which will bring us, the next national name, and that's what we're trying to just build on to make this either a destination or a great interstate stop.